I wasn't able to. I'm not gonna be able to do a live this afternoon. Um, just the way it is. My schedule's kind of. I got to keep my schedule very fluid for the time being. But I did a live yesterday, and there was a whole bunch of people watching me. Just watching the anvil. I did a little bit of forging on there. I guess you got to kind of fast forward the heat up through the heat up times. Next time I do that, I'll have a different angle like this too. I don't know that I like this angle either, but I'm gonna work on some karambits. You're welcome to join me. Hey, buddy, how's it going? Yeah, I was just about to grind out some karambits, and yeah, I did a forging video yesterday, and a lot of people watched it. And this ought to have some more, a little more action. Man, my day's going great. How about you, Aaron? How's your day going? I'm just been working on Kydex. I got all the Kydex knocked out that I needed to for today, and then I'll jumping on this now. CW, what's up, buddy? I'm glad you're on here. It's rainy there, huh, Aaron? At least you're doing good, man. I'm glad you're doing good. Yeah, we don't here. I'm in here in southern Colorado, and we don't get much rain at all. Not at all. I think they say we've got well over 300 sunny days a year, and I don't know exactly how they figure that because yeah, we got lots of sunny days. It's mostly sunny days. Really dry here, but it is gonna snow. It does snow a little bit through the winter. So anyway, I'm gonna get going on these karambits. I got a couple high polished ones. I'm gonna polish this top edge. I already got the flats polished. That's why they're taped up. That way I don't scratch them up. So I'm gonna finish doing the polish. These are the last two I need to do the polish on the top edge. And then I'm gonna switch it around and I'll start grinding the main edge. I got these. I worked on these last night. I got all these done last night as far as top edges go. So today we're doing main edges. And then once I get all these done, I have the 6 sidewinders to do. I'll have 6 of these available. Only 2 polished though. There's only be 2 polished ones. The rest of them will be blackened. So, and I'm going to do a couple with the toxic green. Those have been really popular lately. I think some dudes in the Marine Corps, United States Marine Corps, are wanting some more of them. I know I had a couple of Marines pick them up on the last batch. I think their buddies saw them and they're like, "Oh, I want one too." So, cool. We'll make them. So I'm gonna get going on this. I don't have a lot of hours in the shop today, so we're gonna kick ass on everything. I'll be back at work tonight though. Doing the top edge, I work off a work rest because it it's a lot easier to keep everything even, and it's a lot faster than trying to do everything by hand. I'll do the front edge by hand. And that's because it has to be done by hand to be correct. To be done correctly, it has to be done by hand. change belts now. You see the polishing takes a minute. It takes a lot longer to do a high polished knife than say like just like satin finish or a blackened blade. Takes a lot more work. At least 2 more belts plus the buffing. 2 more steps on the grinder plus the buffing. But you know, a lot of people really like those high polished blades, and you know, a lot of stuff looks really good high polished. You get the right handle material on there. This was a blade I was forging on yesterday. I cleaned up the tip a little bit. It's ready for the surface grind to make sure it's completely flat, and then heat treat. Oh, I still got to trim the handle down a little bit. I'm going to trim it right here, so about 2 inches off the handle. It'll make it a lot more manageable. It will be like a large, it'll be a Tonto. I don't think it'd be considered quite, it's really close to Wakasashi size, but I think it's right under the parameters for a blade to be considered a wok. It'll just be a large Tonto, but it's gonna be badass. I also have the Arkansas toothpick cut out. I cut the tang out. I need to clean everything up on the grinder, clean the shape up, obviously. Shape it, get the tang all ready. And as soon as it's ready, we're gonna heat treat that one. And let's see what else I got right here. This was the tang I forged out yesterday. This is a feather Damascus from Michael Hasselt. So I forged that tang out. It was about that long and straight and a little thicker. But yeah, it was fun forging this sucker out. I need to clean it up, make sure I got it straight. I see I got like a little hammer mark right down here. I'm gonna grind all that shit out. I see that now that I'm checking it out. Slight hammer mark. Blade looks nice straight though. That's real important on keeping your shit straight. Cause man, you get a warp in there, you can be a bitch. It makes everything suck. Warps on certain blades make it, you go from having the time of your life to, damn, this is a vortex of suck. Luckily, I've been doing this long enough. There are tricks you can do post heat treat to straighten out the blades. Some of them work, so sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Let's see, is that a karambit with the reverse sharpened edge? Yeah, the what I'm working on right now is all karambits. I pretty much only make double-edged karambits, so the top edge is razor sharp. Next, I'll be doing the main edge. Yeah, I only do double-edged karambits unless I get a custom order for a single-edged, which I will do. You know, if you want a single-edged karambit, I would be happy to oblige. I'm gonna sell you a knife, but it's not something I usually do because in my school of thought is, you know, karambits are kind of, even though they're great for all sorts of stuff, like they're great. I use karambits for opening boxes, opening packages, all kinds of shit like that around the shop, around the house. They're kind of like daggers in a way. They're one-purpose knives. They're self-defense fucking blades. They're people openers. They're like a dagger. So daggers are double-edged, and they're great for what they're made for. They work excellent for it, as well as double-edged karambits. Double-edged karambits are great for what they are for. I always recommend you get the top edge serrated too. Reason being, you can ask any emergency room surgeon. You can ask any of them. Ask them about serrated knife wounds. They can't sew them up. They can glue them, and if there are parts of the wound that can be sewn, a lot of times they'll put a stitch in there to sew them together. But generally, serrated knife wounds aren't going to be sewn up. I always tell everybody, if you care about your assailant, don't get a serrated karambit. But if you don't give a fuck, I'd go serrated. Even if you don't like serrations, like I'm not like on a regular knife. I don't like serrations. I don't use serrations on regular knives. Like my EDCs, my other pocket knives. Like you can see, like my backup blades. I don't put serrations on any of those of mine personally. I would if you want serrations on yours. I'll do it, no problem. But I'm not a serrated knife guy. But however, on the other side of that coin, serrated karambit, top edge serrated, it makes a nasty, nasty wound that can't be easily fucking patched up. It's not easily patched up. Let's see. Weirdo, we got another fucking faggot in here. John, dude, you're a weirdo. You can go on with that. We ain't around here. We ain't get with that around here. You can go on with your chomo self, John. Go on with your chomo self in your mom's basement. Cause I know you're in your mom's basement because you're just a thunder cunt. I know your daddy was probably all like, couldn't stand that cunt. Was one day was like, oh, I'm gonna go out to get some cigarettes. I'll be right back. And that's how I know, because you have fatherless behavior. That's how I know you don't have a daddy and you're in your mama's basement. You piece of shit. Go on with that shit, dude. Fucking weirdos. You get all kinds of weirdos here on YouTube. I'm gonna get back to it. What's up? Hey, buddy. What's up, Christopher? I was just had a good live yesterday, so I was doing some karambits and just doing it. All right, let's get back to it. There we go. That was the last of the high polishing I had to do on this particular round. Now I'm gonna pull off this work rest. I gotta put on a 36 grit belt, and I'm gonna get to grinding. I do front edges now. Now we've got all the top edges done. This came out pretty good. I will still throw these on a buffer. Like I buffed the flats already. The flats were about where these were before I buffed the shit out of them. Once I buff the shit out of them, these would be nice mirror. Nice mirrored polish. I got this one sold. This one's gonna be slick, man. It's getting sawback serrations and the blue Juma, that blue snakeskin Juma, and it's going to the coast, west coast, going to a knife fanatic there, and so it'll look with the high polish and the blue Juma. It'll be very aquatic. There you go, an aquatic foo. This one is still getting the high polish, obviously, and the amber stag. I've got some dyed and stabilized amber stag that's going on this sucker. Thanks, Christopher. Appreciate it. And yeah, man, I'm gonna keep doing these videos. I'm gonna keep doing the lives and stuff. They've been doing pretty well, and shit. It's as long as y'all are into it, I'm into it. You know, it's all good. All right, we gotta change the setup now and get to grinding. This last belt I used was, they call this a cork belt. It's basically cork material with a little tiny bit of abrasive. This one says, was it 1000 grit abrasive in it? But then you put that 1000 grit is only a little bit of abrasive in it. What you end up doing is you end up putting a polishing compound, and a little bit of grit that's in here just helps you get that bright polish, gets those little bit finer grind scratches out, and yeah, it just gets it to a higher polish. That buffing compound, you know, puts a polish on it, and then I'll take it to my machine, my buffer, my hardcore buffer, and my grizzly buffer with some white compound, and they'll make that makes that steel really pop. Man, I just had a random thought. I know I got competitors that make karambits, but they don't make videos of themselves making karambits. A lot of them dudes use fucking CNC machines, and so it's like, I don't know. I think the knife has a lot more soul to it when it's made by hand. But that's just me. Fucking weird, I guess. Oh, you know one thing we need to do? I just realized we got to put on our this stuff. People always think I got cut when I use this shit because I get it on my hands. So I don't care. The only time I really use bitch mittens is when I'm doing acid etching, because that shit will stain your fingers like orange, like for days and days, or heat treating. There's only 2 times I really use bitch mittens. My buddy Christopher was here, and he said something about gloves. I don't remember what you were talking about, Christopher. You said something about gloves. I'm like, nah, fuck them bitch mittens. So, what I'm doing, this is just like a drafting fluid, layout fluid. I'll let this dry. It's not blood. It's not the blood of my enemies like I wish it was. So, you just paint it on the blade, paint it on your steel like this. I let it dry. I'll show you all here in a second. We're gonna let that sucker dry. I'm gonna do another one while we're waiting for that guy to dry, and then I'll show you all here. I'll do several of them. Basically, what we gotta do is we gotta mark our grind lines. So I'll throw down a line on. I use my marking tool. You throw these. Tell you what, if you throw these in like a C-clamp or something in just some materials and a photo and just put a WIP caption on it, people think you're somebody. I got a whole bunch of these. But no, so what I'll use the micrometer, whatever you want to call it, the thingy, the marker. I will basically get the width of the grind I want. I'll throw down a line on the other side, and so I know how far not to grind. I know where to grind to and what not to grind, basically. And the other thing you got to do, and I've already done this step, is I have a little guy right here, this little funky little thing. The first time I saw this, I was at a knife show, and I walked up to the Jantz table, the knife supply table, and I picked this up, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, what the fuck is this for? I asked the lady, and she was like, oh, that's mark your center lines. There's a little piece of carbide tip right there. Let me get a blank blade that I hadn't marked. So basically what you do is you put your layout fluid, or what I do is just do it after I heat treat, so there's scale right there. A little piece of carbide. You set your blade width, whatever, however far you want to mark it. This little bar adjusts the needle back and forth. So for thinner steel, you use thinner adjustment. You just run this bitch down, bam. Do the other side like that, and it marks the center line. So that way you know where the very center is, and you know where not to grind past. Because man, you grind past that center line, you done fucked up. What you got to do is thin out the blade to get that meat back on there. To get it done right. I know, because I speak from experience. Let's get some fluid on here. I really need to get another bottle. I also use this stuff when I do my when I etch the broken feathers. I'll put this on the blade and then go etch it, and then put a patina on it, and then take some lacquer thinner and clean it all off. So this red stuff keeps the acid from etching the blade, mostly. I say mostly because around the edges that the acid can get underneath the edges of this stuff into the steel. I was talking to a friend of mine last night who's out on the West Coast, and he does trailers, custom. Basically, he puts knives on trailers. Pretty fucking cool. He uses a really, really high nickel steel, because like regular stainless steels, even though they're stainless, they can still leach like around the edges, like where it has been cut. And so, like, say you weld a piece of steel onto whatever, the trailer, the motor, the bottom of the boat, and a lot of times what they have them do is they have to weld up the whole thing, even though it's the blade isn't attached to anything. They got to weld up the edge, because that salt water will make the blade rust out of where it had been cut. Pretty fucking crazy. Even though it's stainless, it'll still rust the shit out. So he's got to use a high nickel steel. And there we go. So let's see. I think this guy's about dry enough. So I got to adjust my marking tool here. And most of the time I just fucking eyeball this. I know there are people like perfectionists and shit, and they will always do the same knife, exactly the same. That ain't me, dude. I ain't gonna be. You can buy two knives from me, and then be exact same models made at the exact same time. They're gonna be slightly different. That's just the way I am. I mean, not one's not gonna be better or worse. They're just everything's made by hand, and yeah, they're all badass. They're all a little bit different. So I don't sweat the small shit. It's what it is. What I'm trying to say, I don't sweat the small shit. I used to. I used to be one of them dudes that was worried about fucking everything and everybody else. See, there we go. So basically just run my tool down like this, and it makes a nice mark there. Same thing on the other side. Nice mark, so I know where to grind to. And I know where not to grind past. This is actually a really satisfying part of the job for me, man. I do have to say that grinding, running that machine is one of my favorite parts of this job. Shaping the knives. Of course, you know, I like pretty much everything. I do have to say that Kydex is my least favorite part of this. And like when I started off, I used to do leather sheaths. Like I used to do leather work. I did leather work when I was a kid. My dad did leather work. My dad, in fact, back in the 40s, like the late 30s, my dad was born in the early 1930s. He did leather work, and he used to sell these purses for like $30 and $40 a piece in the late 1930s when he was like 7, 8 years old. He was getting $30, $40 a piece on these handcrafted leather purses. Crazy. Like in today's money, that's like hundreds of dollars, and that's pretty good for a little fucking kid. So yeah, I don't do leather work because it's a whole career in itself, and it takes up a lot of time. And in my opinion, you don't get paid for all the work that you do. Leather work is a lot of fucking work. There's a lot of prep to it. There's just a lot to it. To make a really nice sheath, these dudes that you see, like for the show knives, the knives that win awards and shit, all the fancy stuff, those sheaths are like, you know, $500, $600, $700, $800 sometimes just for the fucking sheaths. Just because that's how much work has gone into it. But like I said, in my opinion, leather workers don't get paid what they're worth. So that's why I do Kydex. I got a whole bunch of these damn blades to do. 15. I got kind of comfortable doing batches of like 8. Comfort is the death of you. Man, I think it's better to be over ambitious too than under ambitious. And it's such a like for me, like I'm in the middle of doing these 21 knives, and that's not the only thing I'm working on. I probably have another 5 or 6 blades going on at the same time. No, probably close to 10 in addition to these 20. But I would rather aim high and miss a little bit than not aim high enough. No, I don't even know if y'all are seeing that. Y'all can't even see what the hell I'm doing. My bad. I'm just trying to get this layout fluid on these blades, mark them up real quick, and then get to grinding. I should have done this last night. But by the time I got done grinding, polishing all those top edges, I was like, fuck this, I'm ready to go. I want to go burn one. In fact, I should be burning one right now while I'm doing this. Y'all see how small my shop is. That's why I haven't been doing any big projects. I know I did that one sword, but it was it was only one, and it still took up the whole damn place. Like, I had to get it done, and I got to do the kydex for it next. Kydex is going to be a little challenge on it, but it's not going to be a regular kydex sheath. I'm going to do a felt line kydex sheath with some fancy stuff on the outside of it, fancy materials, carbon fiber, some stag and fossilized ivory pieces. Let's see. Oh, there's a question. My bad. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, Christopher. Let's see. Hello, brother. I love the knife you're making. You do quite such a good job. I appreciate it, dude. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. What does it say? Sandrulovsky. Appreciate it, dude. No, you're USA. Let's roll. No, you have the S90V, correct? You have the S90V. Those I should have Monday. I will do an unboxing here live on my water jet shipment, because it's going to be a pretty epic shipment, and y'all need to see it. So I will do it live. These are the Nitro V pieces. The 21 Nitro V pieces that I'm doing. But like I said, as soon as the other pieces, the S90V, the Magna Cut come in, I'm gonna jump on those. I'm gonna get those in line right behind these. The D-guard buoys, the huge XL V44 D-guard buoys, they are like 19.5 inches overall, so they're big beasts. I'm gonna do those right after. This is going to be in line right after these 3 Damascus pieces I'm doing, the Arkansas toothpick and the vest buoy and then the Sheffield buoy. I still need to look up the California Gold Rush buoy. I haven't forgotten about that. Maybe I did forget while I was playing around on my phone, but I mean, I still haven't forgot it. I do need to check out the picture and see exactly what that is. I'm sure I know what it is, and I'm sure I've seen it before. I just, the name is not quite ringing a bell, but I will check it out. So yeah, I got to mark up these polished ones now. Man, that's a shiny knife. You get some fractal going there. Karambit fractal. Y'all hear my rooster? He wants to be on TV too. Fucker. It's like every time I start recording a video, he really doesn't crow that much. Y'all hear him crowing in my videos? I think it's because I'm in the backyard talking and he's like crowing back or something, because normally he doesn't crow much. He doesn't crow like all night long. Man, we had a rooster that was like, he was noisy as fuck, man. That dude was crowing and crowing, and I'm like, how is that motherfucker, how he wouldn't make it in the wild as noisy as that some bitch is. So I got rid of my noisy rooster, and my chill rooster, like I said, he crows a lot when I'm outside. When I'm inside, you don't hear him. Like, he isn't crowing at all. So yeah, here's the polished foo. This is the custom order. This one is getting the blue Juma and sawback serrations. It's gonna be badass. Like I said, it's going to California to a nice young lady that lives on the coast. Lives along I don't know if she lives on the coast, but along the coast. And her dad's a pretty good dude, badass welder. Probably, from what I hear, he's one of the best welders on the West Coast, literally. And he's getting this for his daughter for the holiday. So that's pretty badass. Yeah, apparently, like, this dude is good. He's a friend of a friend. And my buddy that knows him said he's always like, yeah, I'd go up in there, and he'd have his daughter up in there welding stuff, the son up there welding other stuff. I was like, that's cool. That's cool. They need to. Like, as soon as my daughters get a little bit older, they will be up in the shop with me here. I'm already got plans to build Fenrin, the older one of the two. I'm gonna build her own little workbench. And yeah, she'll have her own little kiddo workbench and her own little, oh yeah, kiddo tools. So yeah, she'll be in here making knives. Probably next year might start her off on like some wood knives. You know, make have her make some knives just all out of wood. So there's that guy. We gotta let that guy dry now. I'm running out of hooks. And then man, this one keep showing this one because this one is actual. The sides are an actual. The flats are actual mirror. I haven't done a real, what I would consider a real mirror polish in a long time. So I'm kind of happy with that. It took me a minute. You can see my back. There's my motor coach, which also doubles as my grow room, my office, and my packaging area. So yeah, let me paint this sucker up. Oh, it also, and it's a guest room. Like if I have guests, like my buddy Christopher came to visit me, he got to stay in the coach. So let's see. Yeah, buddy. USA, let's roll. No problem, man. You ever want any updates or anything, man? Feel free to reach out. I have no problem letting you know what's going on with your stuff. I like to be really transparent. And usually it takes a lot of communication to stay trans. See, I always get this shit on my hands and people think I'm like I've been cut. And yeah, no, I haven't been cut. I'm just messy. Yeah, man, I try to stay transparent because and stay in communication. So if you have any questions or anything, yeah, I will be happy to answer them. And yeah, because like I've said before, I'm sure y'all have seen my lives. Most of y'all have been on my lives before when I start off, and I did that one when I was like, you know, communication is the key to a relationship. If in any kind of, my dog again, any kind of relationship, it doesn't matter if it's a working relationship, you know, love relationship, business friend relationship, because a lot of the dudes that buy my stuff, we end up becoming friends, just because we sit there and talk a lot. So it's kind of like a business casual relationship, I guess, man. It's best to stay in communication. I will always stay in communication. So what do I like better, S90V or MagnaCut? Man, I really like both of them. I think I would be using MagnaCut more for stuff that I would, you know, like more combat type knives, more the tactical stuff. I would use MagnaCut for it. But on other things like, you know, fucking, I'm making a kitchen knife. This is S90V. I may end up keeping this sucker. This may be the only kitchen knife I make out of S90V because it's a bitch to grind. But yeah, stuff like that, stuff where you're doing a lot of cutting, I would prefer the S90V. Something in blades that you don't necessarily like, karambits, MagnaCut's great for, because you can make a nice sharp thin point and it's pretty tough. And like when you're swinging around, you slam it into something, you don't really, it's kind of better for impact. And definitely a good tough steel. I've no complaints about MagnaCut at all. And for like regular EDC knives and stuff, it'll be fine. Now, if you had a knife you were taking as a skinning knife, something that you're only going to use on flesh or food, I'd go S90V all the way. All the fucking way, S90V. But for your other stuff, your everyday cutting, go MagnaCut, dude. You won't be. You can't go wrong. Really, you can't go wrong either way. Like for a karambit, either steel works fucking fantastic. Either steel will work fine. But yeah, on a blade it's only going to be flesh or food, S90V all the way. MagnaCut's really, one of the benefits of it is it's super corrosive resistant. This morning I was reading about steel news, as I gotta keep up to date with what's happening on the manufacturing side of things, and I didn't even fucking know. This is the first that I heard. They made a Nitro B, not Nitro V. It's a variation of Nitro V. It's called Nitro B, and then they have a Nitro X7, which Nitro X7 and Nitro B, like I said, are variations of Nitro V. They have a little less carb in them. They're tougher steels, is what they end up being. They end up being a tougher steel that is easier to sharpen by hand. So, yeah, kind of a trip. I had never even heard of that shit before. And it's coming out of a Nitro V comes out of the same factory, the same mill that makes 80 CRV. Is that man? I forget the name. I forget who's got it now. It's changed hands a lot over the last couple years, and I'll have to go back and reread the article I was sent for yeah, to get the exact name of the company that's doing it now. Too much. That should be good. Close enough. Let's see. There we go. That'd be a nice grind on there. But yeah, apparently they'll have Nitro V and 80 CRV back in stock soon. The rumor is January. I'm like, damn, that shit was out for almost a year out of stock. And like from the regular people that have it, like New Jersey Steel Baron, haven't been able to get 80 CRV or Nitro V from them with the regular stuff I get for a year. However, there's a lot of other places that stuff was available, and that's where I've just been going to other places. Oh, these are different. Hellraisers, I got to do a different size. I do a smaller grind on them. Let's see, that one's marked. But yeah, so that's good news. We'll have some more Nitro V soon. I'm still going to go with Scandinavian steel, though, this next run. Reason being is because I can get a lot bigger sheet of it. The Nitro V, I can only get the biggest sheet that I can find or that's usually available for me is 48-inch tall, 15-inch wide. The Scandinavian steel, I can get at 72 inches tall and I think around 30 inches wide, 27-inch wide, something like that. So it's a lot bigger piece of steel, and it's not much more than the 4-foot. As far as cost, it doesn't cost that much more than a 4-foot piece of Nitro V. So that's what we're going to go with for the next round, and then we'll see what happens after that. Okay. See that mark? Hellraisers left. This is a Hellraiser. If I was to do that, I gotta, I make a little smaller marks on it. So I had about a half inch grind on all the Foos and the Guardians. This one's going to be significantly smaller. Probably closer to 3/8 on this one. On the Hellraisers, yeah, 3/8 works. So yeah, on the Hellraisers, I tried to get the center, these lines just a touch. Don't want to overlap. If I overlap them, I fucked up. And this late in the game, we don't do fuck ups. Don't do fuck ups. Saying don't do fuck ups is like just like saying don't be poor. Just don't be poor. God. All right, those Hellraisers, those are always fun. Man, every time I get done with those, I'm like, damn. Oh, did I tell y'all? Um, an irrelevant fucking has been accused me of IP theft on my Hellraisers on a public forum. That's only had he messaged me like I messaged Bastinelli, and yeah, me and Bastinelli talked through DMs and then met up at Blade Show. So him Bastinelli and I are cool. I'm cool with him. He's been doing he's doing his thing. It's him. It's Bastinelli. But we were, as far as the design issue, we we talked about it. Whatever. We're cool. There, Espina, fucking irrelevant ass dude, is like I posted this on Facebook, and somebody had shared it to one of the knife and gun groups. Get bladed, get strapped, or get strapped, get bladed. I can't remember the exact name of the group. But then Dara Espina fucking has been, so I had to chime in that it looked like I stole his IP, and I was like, dude, I was like, I already went to the shit with Bastinelli, man. I was like, from what I've seen, Dara Espina, you need to worry about filling your fucking orders. Don't be worrying about what I'm doing. Apparently, you got customers wanting their fucking knives from 4 years ago, so go to work. Come holler at me after you fill your orders, dude. I didn't hear nothing else from him. Fucking punk ass motherfucker. Irrelevant fucking has been. In the in the late 90s, early 2000s, maybe even a little bit beyond that, Dara Espina was pretty hot in the karambit circles. But man, if you look at his shit, and this is just all, I'm no professional or anything, but in my professional opinion, he did half-ass sloppy fucking machine work. Dude would just drill a bunch of holes in the handle and countersink them. Maybe throw a little paracord and here you go. And these fucking nerds would eat that shit up, man. Fucking nerds. But yeah. Anyway, fuck Dara Espina. I'm gonna get to grinding. I got all these suckers marked up, and it's time to grind. Oh, any of y'all can say, tell Tara, if you know Dara Espina, you can tell him I said that. You can tell him I said he can go fuck himself. He needs to go fill his fucking orders. Then come at me. I am a motherfucking Karambit King. You know, people can say that I'm full of myself, or that I have a bad attitude, or I'm conceited, but not one motherfucker will say I'm a liar.
one more. Got ahead of myself. I got one more to do. That's good. Oh yeah.
All right, so there we have it. There's a grinds on 15 knives, and then like the last 5 are like double-edged knives, so it's like 20 knives worth of grinding. 21, 20. Yep. So let's see what time it is. I'll probably need to cut out of here, take a lunch break, smoke break. I'm gonna dose on some more caffeine. Have a good lunch. I got chickens here, so I eat a lot of eggs. Have some eggs, toast, something really, eggs, toast, and sausage for lunch. Slam down some caffeine, smoke a couple bowls, and I'll be back at it doing the polishing. Polish the grinds, and then it's cleanup and etching. And so yeah, I'm gonna have to get my phone on the charger too. This phone like is probably about dead. It probably last time I did a live yesterday, it was like once I shut it down, I think I had like 14%, but by the time I got in the house it was 10%. And this phone's a few years old too, I think 4 years old. Galaxy S21. And it's a real great phone. It just battery isn't good. All right, USA, let's roll. I will holler at you later. I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. I'll be working on finishing these up. Won't be able to do a live this afternoon, probably, but I will be back at it tomorrow, and I'll try to do some more of this stuff in addition with the afternoon live. Hope y'all have a great rest of the day. Y'all be cool. Stay safe. We'll holler at you next time.